What or who pushed you to be diligent, hardworking, and the best you can be? This is a great question. And I whenever I think about my motivation, I actually always go back to high school when I didn't know what I wanted to do because I had so many different interests. I liked math, I liked reading, I liked sports, I liked 1,000 things. And I I was taking a class on Western civilization. We got to the 600s, which is the rise of Islam, and I started reading one of the historical books that we were reading. I think it was The Grand Jihad by Andrew McCarthy. And that piqued my interest. Some of the stories in there were really gripping around the terrorism side. This is not has nothing to do with the religion side. It has everything to do with the terrorism side. And it touched something in my heart and my mind. And so I ended up reading, I think it was, I don't know, a couple dozen books maybe, give or take, on the subject, different components, different points of view, tons of stuff. And that was the first time that I really felt strongly, I want to be involved. I want to be in a position where I can say no. I dedicated my reading, research, and education to that. I then went to school for it. So that was really the start of my motivation overall. Since then, I would say my motivation overall has tweaked to or shifted from being solely focused on the paramilitary counterterrorism focus to a broader focus of still want to be in a position where I can help people. And based on my perspective on the world, I think the best way that I can be in that position is to develop capital, and whether it's through salary alone or just multiple businesses, etc., develop capital where I can get involved in issues and areas where I want to. And a great case in point is the Chosen Candle Company. That's why I started it. That's why I'm involved. That's why I'm willing to put time into it, effort into it, money into it. It's because I want that to be an avenue to directly connected to this overall motivation that I have to helping other people. And that's personal to me. I that's like the big picture motivation. I think on the kind of who pushed me to be diligent and hardworking, that 100% was my parents. That was something ingrained into me. I think all of us kids, but given that the question is directed at me, that came from them. They did not help us beyond, obviously, being loving, kind, loving parents, but they didn't go out of their way to coddle us. They didn't go out of their way to do things for us. They made us learn how to tie our own shoes, learn how to get up after we fell. And that had there was definitely and absolutely a spirit in our home of, if you have a question or you're trying to do something, then figure it out. I heard figure it out 1,000 times. I think a lot of parents use that as an excuse not to love their children or not to pour into their lives. That has nothing to do with my experience. It was an aspect of my experience that was specifically oriented towards teaching me to be diligent and hardworking versus an excuse there. I mean, my parents poured into my life a crap ton beyond that one single aspect, but all oriented around loving us. But anyway, that's where I think it started. I do think that there's some component to my personality, which is equally, which I think fed off of that, actually. I actually think I fed off it better in some ways than other siblings of mine did, which is just a function of different personalities reacting differently to different inputs. And, that's part of life, and one of the things I think you learn the more you get into business and working with other people. But I think that I responded really well to that, and that's why I'm at where I'm at.